Tonight on Philly Sports Spotlight, Doc's on the shelf, but for how long? Roy Halladay talks about the task ahead as he faces a lengthy rehab. Chip Kelly gets a look at his rookie draft class as the Birds open a weekend minicamp for newcomers and selected other players. And you'll meet a two-sport college athlete who actually gives a hoot. Hello and welcome to Philly Sports Spotlight. I'm Phil Andrews, and we kick things off tonight with a little football, as in, are you ready for some? You know, it's funny, with the new coaching staff, new philosophy, and bevy of new players, the air of mystery and excitement surrounding this team is palpable. And for Eagles fans, it's like getting that new toy you've been waiting for, only to be told you can't really play for it with another 3 months. All I can preach here is a little patience. Now, prior to this past weekend's rookie camp, the team managed to sign 5 of their 8 draft picks. As we take a quick peek at those players, among those players signed, you see there second-round draft pick Zach Ertz, the big 6'5", 249-pound tight end out of Stanford, who, by the way, the highest drafted tight end by the Eagles since they snagged Q Jackson back in 1988. Also signing on the dotted line, 5th-round selection Earl Wolf, the safety out of NC State, whose mother, Sharon, if you remember, was born and raised here in North Philly and has been a member of the National Guard for 29 years. Rounding out the 5 signings, 6'6", 270-pound defensive end Joe Kruger. His brother Paul plays for Cleveland. Cornerback Jordan Poyer out of Oregon State. And big 6'4", 281-pound DN David King of Oklahoma. Of course, Oklahoma is also the school that produced the Eagles' first-round selection Lane Johnson. But more on Johnson in just a moment. Because despite the fact that the Mammoth 6'6", 303-pound tackle was the 4th overall selection in this year's draft process, most of the attention this past weekend at the rookie camp was on Birds' 4th-round pick, quarterback Matt Barkley from USC.
He's the all-time leading passer in USC history. He's one of the all-time great quarterbacks to play in that league. He's a 4-year starter in high school. He's a 4-year starter in college. He has all the intangibles you're looking at. Coming off an injury, but did not have an operation, just still developing that. So I think maybe some people evaluate him a little bit just because he's coming off it. But if you do what everybody talks about and go to the film and go to the body of his work, he's had an outstanding career, and we're excited.
Now, depending on what you believe, Coach Kelly has stated that there will be an open competition for the team's starting quarterback spot, and that includes Vick, Foley, Dixon, and now Barkley. But based on the past fast-paced read-option offenses that we saw Kelly run at Oregon, Barkley somehow just doesn't seem like a good fit.
I think, I'll make it fit, and it doesn't matter, what place we run. I'm going to find a way to help this team out, and I know Coach Kelly has a way of working things out as well in terms of how he schemes and how he calls plays. So I'm not, worried about how this will turn out. Just worried about the here and now.
Now, one rookie who does seem like a good fit and ready to step in and make a contribution this season is the Birds' second-round selection Zach Ertz, the big 6'5", 249-pound tight end out of Stanford. Now, if you remember, it was Ertz who helped fuel a big Cardinal comeback last year that saw Stanford hand Oregon its only loss of the season. But now that Ertz and Kelly are on the same page and same team, it sounds like Eagle fans could be in for a real treat.
Coach Kelly's a great offensive mind, and I think he'll find a way to get myself and some of the other tight ends the ball. And I know there's a lot of great offensive skill position players on the team, and I just look forward to joining them. I think you see some of these guys like Tony Gonzalez, Jason Witten, some of those guys being complete tight ends and being huge mismatches in the passing game, and I think I'm just really looking forward to showing off what I can do at the next level. I think I'm a very good route runner, very good ball skills. I think I play fast, and I think I'm a complete tight end, and I think however the coaches will use me, I'll do great at it, and I'm gonna work very hard at it.
Now, for me, one of the most intriguing Eagles draft picks was 7th-round selection Jordan Poyer. Not only was he a top-flight corner with Oregon State last year, but also touted as one of the top corners in the entire country. And how is this for a bit of foreshadowing? During a college preseason interview last year, it was Oregon head coach Chip Kelly interviewing Oregon State's prior in a special for the Comcast Sportsnet network in San Francisco.
What I want to make a pact with you right now is that you agree, and you represent your school, you represent our school, that the Pac-12 champ will come from the state of Oregon this year.
Definitely. We can agree with that.
All right, buddy. Congrats.
Pryor, who also doubled as a kick and punt return specialist for the Beavers, may get that same opportunity here in addition to playing a little safety.
You know, I'm looking to play wherever they need me, really. But I made the switch my freshman year. One of our corners got hurt, Tim Clark. He got hurt, and I actually had never played a down a corner, in my life in high school until my junior year of college, and so kind of just learned the position and just took it and ran with it.
And just to give you an idea what kind of athlete Poyer is, he was also drafted by the Florida Marlins in the 42nd round of the 2009 MLB draft. And so here we are, finally finding our way back to the beginning, or at least as far as the draft is concerned. Number 1 pick, Lane Johnson, already looking large in his Eagles uniform and doesn't even have his pads on. But if he can get his blocking technique to match the rest of his physical attributes, the Birds may have just found their next Pro Bowl tackle.
I think you have to be more, refined in it. You can't. You're going against the best of the best now. You're not going against any scrubs anymore. So you got to be kind of perfect with what you're doing, otherwise you're going to get beat.
By the way, the Eagles will continue their OTAs, that's their off-season training activities for the next several weeks. This is actually where Coach Kelly will finally start weaving the canvas for his team prior to training camp. All right, time now to talk Phillies, more specifically Roy Halladay. Doc recently releasing this statement. Now, I know there are people who are disappointed about how I pitched the last 2 years. I know there are also a lot of people who are very supportive. I want to thank them for the support, and my heart goes out to all the people who spend their money to go out to the games and don't get what they see or what they want to see. In 34 1/3 innings spread over 7 starts this year, Halladay has an earned run average of 8.65, the second worst in all of baseball. Very un-Doc-like, but at least we know why now.
They found a bone spur, some changes in the rotator cuff, more so than last year. There's a little bit of fraying of the labrum, but not anything significantly different than last year. So what they're going to do is they're going to go in and clean up the bone spur, clean up the rotator cuff and the labrum, try and keep it as unevasive as possible. And from what I understand, if they go in and see during surgery what they saw on the exams, I have a chance to come back and pitch this year. I have a good chance to come back and pitch this year, and hopefully be a lot more effective. They said that my range of motion will be better, my location will be better, and hopefully the velocity will be better. But they said that the cause is the bone spur. The rotator cuff kept rubbing over it, and over time it gradually created more and more of a tear, so they want to get that cleaned up and get that out of there. We haven't decided yet where we're going to do it. We haven't got a time of when we're going to do it. We're going to take some time to figure that out, but that's pretty much the diagnosis.
Of course, given the number of years Doc has pitched and the varying velocities at which he has thrown those pitches, it's surely not hard to understand why that shoulder has worn down the way it has. Of course, with over 2,700 career innings pitched, even an old workhorse starts to break down. Now, he says he could return before the end of the season, but something tells me it might just be time for Doc to think about retiring. And by the way, with a rotation that also includes aces Cole Hamels and Cliff Lee, who would have ever guessed that 40 games into the season, Kyle Kendricks would be the best pitcher on the club with a record of 4-1 and an earned run average of 2.46. Okay, time now for this week's trivia question. Based on Doc Halladay's 2,721 innings, and I guess it's a 2/3 pitched, who holds the all-time record for career innings pitched? We'll actually have the answer to that coming up a little bit later on in the show. Also coming up later in our show, two-sport Temple athlete Connor Riley. Tonight's Philly segment was sponsored by Virtua Joint Replacement Institute, the home with a quad-sparing knee replacement. For more information, call 855-VIRTUA-3.